All right, our topic for today is going to be starting our review with the preterite tense. Now, today we're going to focus on regular conjugations and then our 5 irregular conjugations. And then later next week, we will continue our conversation with our stem changers and our funky stems and our cargarzars and all that jazz. So let's get started. All right, we've got the preterite tense in English as well. Our regular conjugations, I studied, she worked, we called. What do you notice that all 3 of those have in common? If you said the ending ed, then you are correct. We also have some irregular conjugations in English as well. They spoke, you ran, he wrote. Notice we don't say they speaked, you runded, or he righted. Those are our irregular conjugations. So, they've got the same thing in Spanish. Here's our regular endings. For our AR verbs, hasta, o, amos, hasta is, and aron. Notice we've got accents in the yo form and the el, ella, and usted form. And then also notice that in order to put together the vosotros form, we just add is to the to ending, hasta is. Our ER conjugations, y, iste, io, imos, isteis, and ieron. Again, notice we also have accents in the yo form and the el, ella, and usted form on the o. And then in order to form the vosotros conjugation, all we add is is to the to conjugation, isteis. And remember, our IR conjugations are the exact same as our ER conjugations, so they have the same chart. Y, iste, yo, imos, isteis, and ieron. Notice that the nosotros form is the same as the present tense for our AR verbs and our IR verbs. So how do we know the difference? Well, we're going to be using our context clues to really help us out. And then also, as again, emphasis on those accents in the yo form and the la and usted forms. Okay, so we've got some keywords that when we hear these, boom, we know we're going to be using the preterite tense. For example, ayer, yesterday. Anoche, last night. Anteayer, the day before yesterday. La semana pasada, last week. El mes pasado, last month. El lunes pasado, last Monday. And esta mañana, this morning. Another word that you might want to add to this list is hace, ... So if we said hace 2 años, that means 2 years ago. That would also indicate the use of the preterite tense. Alright, so here's an opportunity to stop and practice. So I've got 5, 6, 7, yes, final answer 7 conjugations that I would like for you to hit pause and write those conjugations into Spanish, please. So go ahead and hit pause and do so now. Let's see how you did. Number 1 should be Marta caminó. Yo corrí. 2, metiste. Ellas escribieron. Hablamos. Ahorrasteis. And encendieron. Awesome. Good job. So now we're going to switch our focus to our totally 5 irregular verbs. So before we go ahead and move on and I give you these answers, I want you to see what you remember from last year. What do you remember about these 5 verbs? Can you fill out any of the conjugations on your own? Go ahead and hit pause and see what you can do now. Alright, let's see what you remember. Alright, remember ser, fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fuisteis, and fueron. Remember ir, fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fuisteis, and fueron. Same thing, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, there we go. And then dar, di, diste, dio, dimos, disteis, and dieron. And then we've got ver, vi, viste, vio, vimos, visteis, and vieron. Similar. The only difference is the first letter. I'll be. And then of course we've got hacer. hice, hiciste, hizo, hicimos, histeis, and hicieron. Notice that we changed that Z to a C to keep the same sound. So those are our 5 irregular verbs. Notice none of those have accents. There we go. All right. So here's your opportunity to practice with our 5 irregulars. I have some practice problems for you. So right now, all you're going to do, there we go. So right now, all you're going to do is tell me what that conjugation would be in Spanish, and then you're going to tell me what the English translation is. So go ahead. First one, you're going to write the preguntas. Your second column is going to be your answers. And then finally, the third column then will be your translation into English. So go ahead and hit pause and do this activity now. Time to check our answers. All right. Tu ver would be viste. Yo hacer would be hice. Usted dar dio. La madre fue. Mis amigos y yo ser would be fuimos. And usted y sus estudiantes would be hicieron. Alright, so what does viste, hace, dio, fue, fuimos, and hicieron mean in English? You saw. I made or I did. You all formal gave. The mother went. My friend and I were. You formal and your students made or did. And that's it. So if you have any questions, make sure you write those down. We're going to get lots of practice with our preterite tense here in the near future.